many people wanted to know what my first impressions are. And one of the things that struck me most is the tremendous power of cooperation in fair trade. Partnerships between producers, brand owners, retailers, distributors, NGOs, consumers and governments, all working together in a sustainable trade model to fight poverty. My impression, after the first 4 months at Max Havelaar, is that NGOs and commercial organizations are actually moving towards one another. Fair trade is a balanced model that covers the 3 fundaments of sustainability: people, planet, and for sure profit. Producers receive a fair price for their goods based on the cost of sustainable production. The fair trade premium enables cooperatives to invest in education, business improvement, healthcare, and improvement of general living conditions. The key fact that cooperatives and producers themselves can decide where to invest their revenues builds empowerment at the level of producers. In the fair trade system, there is a continuous focus on development, change in the chain. In many areas, producers are committed to improvement programs on social and ecological topics. The Fair Trade Labeling Organization supports where needed. Actually, a lot has already been achieved. The fair trade system, with the trademarks Max Havelaar here in the Netherlands, has gained broad respect, trust, and acceptance. Pioneers of the past maintain to be our loyal partners, whether they are consumers, whether they are volunteers, or whether they are organizations. New partners and clients join us every day. Large consumer group brands like Verkade, like Ben & Jerry's, like Cadbury's, like Starbucks, as well as leading retailers like Albert Heijn, Lidl, Plus, and many other international operating retailers, have adopted the fair trade conditions and are now selling under fair trade certification. Partnerships with these leading brands is vital to continue our growth and to grow the user base of fair trade labeled products and so improve the impact at the producer level. This is what we call in the sector upscaling. Production capacity has increased tremendously, both in volume and in quality. In many categories, you can find products in every store around the corner. How about consumers and consumer behavior? Well, research shows that consumers actually do want to contribute to create a better world, a world without poverty. The pity is that most consumers do not know how. Contributing to a better world is actually surprisingly simple. Be aware of what you buy as consumer, and we've just seen the example of the banana. Watch the fair trade label on it, and you contribute as a consumer to change in the chain. Growth of fair trade certified goods does not only depend on partnerships with commercial organizations. We must and will continue, as Max Havelaar Foundation, to explain what fair trade is all about and what the benefits of fair trade is. And the Fair Trade Week we are running this week is a very good example of how we approach the consumer and tell what fair trade is all about. Another good example is the Fair Trade Gemeentecampagne. Cities can apply for a label Fair Trade City. This label will only be granted after certain criteria have been met. Criteria that cover the entire community in a city, like citizens, schools, churches, administration, and business community. Initiatives like these are, in my opinion, far and far stronger than any traditional advertising campaign can ever be. Why? Because there's passion, there's commitment, and involvement of citizens and the business community. By jointly teaming up, an entire city community can contribute to making a change in the chain. Well, this almost looks like a good news show. And indeed, we are on course. As a sailor, I would say this, on course, but we need more sail on the boat because the speed is not high enough. Taking the Millennium Goals as our guidance, we can only conclude that these goals are both ambitious and still far from being realized. And time is running out. When we truly want to make the highly needed changes, we cannot waste resources in our continuous quest to achieve these Millennium Goals, to fight poverty and all its consequences. Fair trade, as a system, strongly contributes to realization of the Millennium Goals. Fighting poverty where it's highly needed, the small producers in developing countries. Developing education, democracy, equal rights for men and women, improvement of healthcare, development of environmental sustainability. And of course, development of fair trading conditions for the least privileged producers, the small producers. I welcome governments and organizations to take their responsibility, set the example and lead. I compliment our Minister of Development Cooperation, who repeatedly supported the fair trade system. Very, very important, because the government can, and in my opinion, should set the example. Public procurement in this can stimulate commercial organizations even more to implement fair trade in their business models. Allow purchasing managers to choose products that comply to fair trade standards. Ladies and gentlemen, this year during the Fair Trade Week, we actually celebrate 15 years of fair trade cocoa in the Dutch stores. November 1993, the former Minister of Development Cooperation, Jan Pronk, unloaded from a ship the first shipment of fair trade cocoa. Now, in 2009, fair trade cocoa is widely available in all stores. You find it in brands like Fairtrade Original, Tony Chocoloni, Verkade, Albert Heijn Puur en Eerlijk, and many others. My kids actually sing a song which says in Dutch, morgen is vandaag, later is al lang begonnen. And I think this is extremely applicable to what we are working here, and it very well shows the urgency that we are working on. And I therefore want to wrap up with an invitation to you all, as current leaders and also as future leaders, to contribute to making our trade systems more sustainable. And as a consumer, you can start today, simply by being aware of what products you consume and what products you buy. It's that easy. Thank you very much.